My name is Therese van Groesbeck and I live in Lucina. A friend of mine had been to Switzerland several times and loved it, and I saw some of her pictures and I just decided it was a beautiful country and I wanted to see it for myself. Well, the flight to Switzerland was not fun necessarily. It's a long trip. When we flew there, we flew overnight, and that kind of screws up your internal clock because then you have to recuperate. We just hit the ground running and went places. So we landed in Zurich and did some sightseeing there. Zurich wasn't my most memorable place that I loved. There were other towns that I really loved a lot better. For instance, like Gruyere, the little quiet, quaint town of Gruyere, which is where we went to the cheese factory, Gruyere cheese, and chocolate. We had chocolate sampling and things of that nature. And I love those kinds of, background, the smaller towns. It's very tiny. It has basically one main street and it has a castle there. And so that was fun also. I mean, there were things to see there, as I say, besides the cheese factory and the castle and, the chocolate sampling and so on and so forth. You could go to the little shops and do shopping, and we had lunch there, and it was a cobblestone street. So, it was just really cute. One of the amazing things that I loved about Switzerland was they have the cleanest water ever. We were told we can go and drink the water anywhere. If it's in a fountain, if in a river, a spring, whatever. So all the fountains, we would always go up and, and have a drink. And their lakes, I loved their lakes. Their lakes were this beautiful emerald green, which they said comes from the limestone of the melt-off from the mountains. So, it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous, it really is. We spent a couple of days in Zermatt, but it was sightseeing other things, like going up to a mountain which had the best view of the Matterhorn. And we rode on everything from funiculars to cable cars to trams to, cog railways, everything. And getting to these higher places because, you're in the valley a lot, but you're up high a lot too. The day we were there to see the Matterhorn, it was totally clear. It was a blue sky, no clouds, and we had the best shot. Even outside my balcony from my room, I got the best shot of the Matterhorn, quite a few, and most people don't see that, ever, because there's always a cloud here or there or whatever. We were just very lucky. We went to a mountain to get the view of the Matterhorn, the really great view. We went up the cogwheel excursion. Some of them and the funiculars, and to tell you, sometimes I would get them mixed up because they go straight up the mountain. They don't go zigzag, which they did a lot of that also, but I'm just saying they went straight up whether it was the funicular or the cog railway, I'm not sure which, or both, would sometimes go straight up the mountain, and that was a little scary. The countryside is what I was just taken away. My breath was taken away because the countryside is so beautiful and they're so green. And all of the open meadows. There was a joke that we heard more than once about how, the cows, which are very famous in Switzerland with their bells, and I loved them. And we could hear, even from our coach or sometimes if we were on a cog railway or anywhere, we could hear their bells, and it was magical in a way. And the cows had 2 shorter legs on one side so that they didn't fall off the mountain. Interlaken was the last town before we got to Zurich again. And Interlaken again, I mean, I love Interlaken. It's this small little town, cozy little town, again with a small street. But what was fascinating in Interlaken to me is that they had out my window, my balcony again, there was a little park in Interlaken, and these people were coming out and paragliding from the mountain behind us, and then they would come out, and they were doing this all day and all evening. I mean, when it wasn't too dangerous. If the wind got too much or there were reasons, then they would have to stop. My favorite place was Interlaken, and that's where I also got from my balcony, I got the beautiful picture of the Jungfrau. It was very exciting. It was, I mean, we were on the go all the time. At certain points, sometimes some of the residents would take a break and take a day off. Maybe I took a day off just because we're always on the go and you just want to have a down day. And so I took mine at Interlaken so I could walk around, and walk down the little town and just look around, and I really enjoyed that. But it was so exciting, and I don't know, I can't say enough about it. I think it's the most beautiful country in the world.